officially over. Welcome back to the Neutral Zone. I'm your host, Danny Lacrosse, alongside here with Mike Payne and James Quinn. So it's definitely been an up and down season, and the Bruins did not make the playoffs by just, a little bit. They had the chance to make the playoffs, but they didn't. So what do you guys think of the ending of the postseason? It's pretty upsetting.
It's as a Bruins fan, it's really hard to swallow 2 years in a row to see that collapse. I think it's a testament of the roster they had out there. Obviously, it didn't work the year before. They made minimal changes. If anything, they were actually a worse team on paper than they were the year before.
They had problems in the back end all year. I'm not surprised. I wanted to see them get in as a Bruins fan. Obviously, I'm going to root for them to get in. I just didn't think it was possible.
They got the help they needed to from Detroit, and that showing against Ottawa is really discouraging to see this core group moving forward if they're kept together.
It's tough to see a win in your in situation, and you get blown out like that on your home ice. It's really tough in front of your home crowd.
To a non-playoff team, too.
Correct.
Yeah, Thursday night I was actually at the Detroit game, and you have a chance or you're out for the season. It was a good game. I enjoyed every second of that game, but Saturday when it came to playing against Ottawa Senators, I was still nerve-wracking. Pretty upsetting that they couldn't do the job, and now they put the skates away and get the golf clubs out there. So sad season for the Bruins, ending too early. Another player out of the playoffs, second season in a row. During the week, we didn't know if Claude Julien was staying or leaving. Today he had a press conference, and him and Don Sweeney sat next together, and they said that he's officially staying as a coach for the upcoming 10th season as a Bruins head coach. What do you guys think about that?
For a few years now, we've heard about the depth in the organization. They have all these young prospects, these kids that can come up, that are going to be impact players that can be used as trades assets to build that nucleus, put the pieces in place. But Julien doesn't play these young players, and they're not bringing in these players to supplement them. So I do like Claude. He's done a lot of great things for the organization. But moving forward, I think you needed to go in a new direction with that coach, because he doesn't coach young players. You haven't seen improvement even from the defensemen that are playing, and Trotman and Morrow. That they haven't gotten better, and they've played parts of 2 NHL seasons this past season, all of it.
Right, totally agree. So where I think you have to find the direction you want to go in, and Claude does not work with young players, like you said. So when you look at this team coming up, you have Colin Miller, who's probably your best defensive prospect. He's not even playing. You put guys like Trotman and Morrow in front of him, and that's good and all. And when it comes to push and shove to get into the playoffs, it makes sense, but it does, you have to find a direction. You have young players, Vetrano, you have Pasternak, this kid Jimmy Vesey, who just won the Hobey Baker at Harvard. Now he didn't sign with Nashville, so now he's deciding what team he wants to go to. The Bruins are one of them. He could be slotted, if he was going to Nashville, he'd be slotted in the top 6 forwards. If he comes to Boston, and I assume he would be slotted in the top 6, while Claude Julien has the most wins as a Bruins coach, is he the right coach to coach this team going forward?
Probably play Jimmy Hayes over him.
Yeah, Jimmy Hayes sat out that last game. I think it...
Yeah, Jimmy Hayes has been going pretty downhill. In the beginning of the season, I was all rooting for him, but, does he have a 2-year contract with the Boston Bruins? I think if they get, if they decide to, move a couple of players such as Jimmy Hayes, do you think we can get a good enough player to replace Jimmy Hayes?
Straight up, I don't think. I think people look at him, and you look at the last game of the year, playoffs on the line. Where was Jimmy Hayes? He wasn't even on the bench. He was upstairs. I think that in order to get something, you have to give up something, and I think I wouldn't be opposed to seeing them move David Krejci. If you were to move a core player, I think he would be the right one. I'd like to see some youth come up. Spooner plays the center. Maybe he could fill in. What do you think?
I definitely agree with that. I think with moving Krejci he is having surgery. They said in the next couple of weeks, so that's gonna take the value of him down. And another thing with David Krejci is he still has a lot of money and about 5 more years left on that deal. So you're going to have to eat a lot of money. So it's hard to go out and sign players, or you're handicapping yourself against the cap that way.
Yeah, David Krejci's having hip surgery during the off season. I came across this article, I think, from WEEI. They believe if they they move Krejci on and Zdeno Chara and give Patrice Bergeron the captain spot. So I don't know. That could be something to go on, but I don't know. What do you guys think? I know Patrice Bergeron's not going anywhere anytime soon. He's one of their probably important players to keep on the Bruins roster.
Going on that, I don't actually think you move Zdeno Chara. I don't think he's a problem. Your defense is a problem. You have him playing way more minutes than he should. I mean, I would like to see them keep Zdeno Chara, put him in a second line sort of thing, but go out and make some real hockey trades and acquire some caliber NHL defensemen that are ready to play. And I think you could still get a lot out of Chara if you cut his minutes.
I agree with you in that sense. He'd be much better suited for that second D pairing role. You can use him on the power play, still effective there with that shot. But it's hard to swallow his cap number with him playing second line minutes. If you're going to pay somebody like that, you need them to be able to play in all situations and make an impact and match up against the other team's top forwards.
Yeah. So yeah, Don Sweeney and and Claude Julien, now that he's a 10th season coach, definitely have a lot of work ahead of them. Who do you else think you should move around? Like, thinking.
I know somebody I really do not want them to bring back, and that is Torrey Krug.
There's been a lot of talk about moving Torrey Krug.
Torrey Krug is going to be a free agent this summer. He's going to demand a high cap. For annual figure's going to be big. He's going to be looking for some stability in his contract, multiple years. But I don't think you pay somebody like that that's really your sixth defenseman, and is obviously one of the better power play defensemen in the NHL. But he doesn't make the impact in his own zone that I think attributes to a lengthy deal.
I've heard a lot of talk about moving Tuukka Rask, and I don't think that's the right move. I think you're jumping the gun. I mean, I know he bailed out of the game in the game the way the playoffs were on the line. I mean, we've all been sick. We've all gotten sick. We know what it's like. It's you can't perform at a top caliber. But on that note, at the same time, I'd rather lose 8-1 than 6-1, and knowing that you had your best players on the ice. Unfortunately, people are saying, "Oh, well, get rid of Rask, get rid of Rask." I wouldn't, just because. Do you have that much faith in Subban coming up? Like, unless you trade for another goalie.
I mean, it wasn't his fault. He was ill for the last few games.
Right, it's tough.
Never know what's going to happen. Germs are everywhere.
But just a coincidence to stop you real quick. He also was sick when he was playing for Team Finland in the 2014 Olympics. They're in the semifinals with a chance to go to the gold medal game against Sweden, and he missed that game because of an illness. Eventually I think coincidences stop being coincidences.
Going off that, there was a story that was leaked that he was out all night drinking and partying. Before he got sick. I mean, I'm not going to say that is the case in this situation because we don't know, but that was the story that was leaked. Going off like his post-game interviews and stuff, I really question, like, is this guy, like, is his mind in it? Like, does he want to win? Does he want to compete?
Yeah, does he
or is he just showing up to cash a check? I question whether his heart's in it.
It's got Pablo Sandoval syndrome.
Yeah. It's a bad syndrome to have.
Yeah, very bad. Hopefully he doesn't put the weight on.
Right.
Yeah, so honestly, I don't know what to think of Claude Julien. Like, if it's another down season, the 2016-2017 season, I really would like, I think you should let him out of here. We all thought, fans, news reporters, media, all thought this was definitely a trial period. We talked about it throughout the whole season that he was on a trial period, and in the beginning of the season, I thought he was going to be gone around Christmas, and then I think, oh, maybe like since he lost the Winter Classic, they're going to do something. But no, they want to stick with him. They want to see if he can work something out. Like you said, he cannot coach young players. He cannot teach the young players the system that they have. So, I guess you got to find that players that can work with it, and I guess players that have been here for quite some time now. I mean,
I think if say we're talking about this again at Christmas time next year, and he's playing the young players, and they're at about a 500 team, fighting for maybe a wild card spot. I'd be happy with them, but at least they're trying to bring up these young players, or seeing improvement in them. But if they're sticking with this core nucleus and they have the same record, I would cut ties, especially if they do make big additions in the offseason, which I haven't seen anything from Don Sweeney to make me think that they will. Though he did say in his press conference today that he does intend on making some big moves.
That's good, and we'll hear out throughout the summer. We'll let you know when just before the season's back, or anything comes up during the playoffs. We'll definitely let you know. So it's gonna be a big summer, with the Bruins organization, and a lot of stuff going around the media. So we'll definitely fill you in. So last night, the 2016 NHL playoffs has just begun. First few games, we had Detroit Red Wings play the Tampa Bay Lightnings. Lightnings had a 3-2 victory. Rangers played the Penguins. The Penguins had a 5-2 victory. And the Blackhawks and the St. Louis Blues. Blues had a 1-0 victory in overtime. So I caught one of the games last night. Fell asleep on the overtime. I was kind of disappointed. But did any of you two catch these games? I
caught a little bit of it, and from Tampa, you got to be happy with the way the triplet line played last night. They're out there for all 3 goals. Kucherov has been the best offensive player, I think, for Tampa this year. I mean, obviously still have Stamkos, but he made a big impact this year, made big strides, scored 30 goals. It was nice to see Tyler Johnson come back. He kind of had an off year for him, considering the season before he tied for the Tampa lead in scoring. So that line, I think they can do some damage in the playoffs.
I was really impressed in the Pittsburgh game. Hornquist, he had 4 points. He had a hat trick and an assist. I thought that was pretty impressive. Big players show up in big situations, and I was impressed by that.
No Malkin and no Fleury last night, too.
That was huge. Good win for them.
I didn't catch that game, but how did Sidney Crosby do?
He scored a goal.
2 assists, too.
2 assists, yeah. He had a nice breakaway goal on a nice pass that was Hornquist's assist.
He
nice
sniped
breakout
that.
pass, yeah.
Well, I caught the Blackhawks and St. Louis Blues games in the second intermission. I was driving home from the Cape, so. But that was like that to me. That looked like a six game series there. Both teams were on their feet, both wanting to get a goal, but ended up going into overtime, and Blues just happened to score, and I sadly fell asleep in the overtime. It was late.
If I'm a Chicago Blackhawks fan, I'm not panicking at all. They outplayed the Blues that game. They outshot them 2-1. Fluke goal that goes in. Backus is trying to center the puck to the crease. It hits Crawford, goes in. I think the Blackhawks come out of that series.
Yeah. I mean, the Blackhawks are familiar with the playoffs. I mean, I am not sweating it. I took the Blackhawks in 6 games, like you said. I wouldn't be worried if I'm them. They bounce back quickly. And they outshot them.
First 2 to St. Louis last year too, right?
Oh.
In the first round, I believe.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm definitely.
So now let's talk about brackets in our bracket challenge here. So I know you have the Ducks, Anaheim Ducks. Mike, you have the LA Kings. I have the Chicago Blackhawks. So give me your input why you chose LA Kings, Anaheim Ducks, and I'll explain mine.
Well, I guess we can first start by saying that we know the Stanley Cup's going to come from in the West. My explanation why having the Kings is defense wins championships. I feel like Quick is the best goalie that's left right now. That's huge. Coaching is big for me. Experience is big for me. Their D is, I think, I don't know. Like, it's right where Chicago's D is, so I don't want to say it's the best D, but I like them better. I like their forwards better. I like their experience and their coaching and their goaltending.
I went with the Ducks. I actually picked them at the beginning of the season. I really liked them on paper. They have really good young defensemen, and they have Perry and Getzlaff. They have Kessler. I thought they'd make an impact. They roll 4 lines. They started out slow, and since Christmas, they've really turned it on, and I actually have them playing Pittsburgh in the finals. Another team that since Christmas has really turned it on. Remember, there's a coaching change at the beginning of December for Pittsburgh. Mike Sullivan came in. They actually, in his first week on the job, they lost 2 games to the Bruins. But since then, they've really turned it on. They're playing well without Malkin. Just those teams. I think the hot teams are going to take it. But with LA, I think that's another team that you can see do it. They're a big, physical, fast team to play against, and their D's rock solid.
Yeah. The physicality and the size on the Kings, I'd like to go back and mention, is another reason why I took them. But I see, like, Chicago and LA, like, the 2 top teams. I don't see the Capitals, even though finishing with the best record. I just don't think they have the experience. I don't think they have the depth. These big physical teams, I feel like, are going to rough them up.
Well, so I'll give you my input. I put the Blackhawks because I know this is not their first time coming to the playoffs and going far. They also won it last year and the year before. And they have a strong forward. They have a strong defenseman. I mean, it's no walk in the park for these guys. And they got all their players except for Duncan Keith. I think
he's back game 2 though.
Okay, I know he had a child. I think he's officially a father right now.
I thought he was serving his suspension, right?
Yeah.
Oh, then I was reading something
Could
else.
also have a child.
Yeah.
I was reading something else, I guess. I thought that was the reason why. But like I said, it's no walk in the park for them, and they have a great coach, Joel Quenneville. So I believe that they can get the job done for another year. So yeah, and that's my what my thought it was doing my bracket. I also had the Florida Panthers playing against them in the final. I don't know if that was pretty risky, I guess.
You must really love Yager.
I do love
That's a
Yager.
tough goal,
Yeah.
but hey, it's playoffs. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
You gotta
I
play
do
the
love
games.
Yager. I would love to see Yager, get another ring.
That would
And
be nice. It's a good
Lucci
story.
might have another ring, but with LA. So never know.
My eyes see it. Speaks to my prediction.
And Quiddy, I put a Ducks jersey behind you. I mean, it's not Anaheim, but it's.
Show it to the people, Quinn.
Yeah, give a little peek. It's,
Stanley
look
Cup
at it.
champions.
That's our childhood right there.
Yeah.
that's our child.
There we go.
Yeah.
Charlie Conway.
There you go. That's what we're all about, So that's my prediction. Just to let you guys know that tonight is the second part of the first game of the NHL playoffs. So the Flyers play the Capitals, Islanders play the Panthers, the Wilds play the Stars, and the Sharks play the Kings. And then Saturday night, Red Wings, Lightnings, Islanders, Panthers, Blackhawks, Blues, Predators, and Ducks. So a lot of hockey for the next few months, or two or three. Goes from late April to early June. So
Best 8 weeks of the year.
yes, exactly. And also the best week of the year was last week, which was the Masters, and so that's my Super Bowl. I don't know about you guys, but I'm obsessed with golf. I love golf. So that's pretty much it. Do you think Don's going back to the Bruins? They did not make the playoff contending. They're out for the season. What do you think Don Z0NE has to do as a general manager? I mean, it's his first year. He made some pretty big moves last year. Not the right ones, but I don't know. Do you think we could give him another chance? A lot of people disagree, but what do you guys think?
I definitely think he needs another chance. I mean, it's 1 year. He's proven himself in Providence and stuff. He he wasn't handed the role like a Cam Neely was. I would put more blame on Cam Neely, who was just handed the president. Don Sweeney's actually built his way up to become a general manager, and I think he's got his work cut out for him. I think this spiral down has happened since the Boychuk trade, and their defense. I feel like you have to go out and make 2 NHL caliber trades and acquire 2 defensemen. I think you're missing a top 2 defensemen. 2 top defensemen.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. You have to bring in D, and Louis Eriksson is going to walk. I don't think they should resign him, and I don't think they will resign him. I don't think they're going to have an issue scoring goals. They finished 3rd in the NHL in total goals for this season. That wasn't the problem. The problem was their own end. They couldn't keep the puck out of the net. I think you saw Rass' save percentage drop, I think, because he wasn't facing as many shots on the outside. A lot of teams had quality chances against him.
I'll give him another chance. Like you said, Mike, it's his first year. You gotta cut the guy a little bit of slack, but we as Boston fans, we want to win. That's all we have. All we have is sports and golf, or I don't know, sports and snow, I guess.
But my thing is with him, since he took that role, what has he done to really make the team better? He re-signed McQuaid to extension he shouldn't have. You can question both times he's brought back Julian, traded away Dougie Hamilton. He added Stepniak and John Michael Lyles at the break. 2 rental players. I think those are the best 2 moves he's had.
I think we're still waiting to see what the Hamilton and the Lucic trade have to offer. I mean, we don't know what Colin Miller is going to be. I mean, the potential's there, the skills are there. We don't know. I mean, I thought it was a good move. Lucic is having a down year. I thought it was the right move at the right time. You get a first-round draft pick in that?
It is good, but my thing is, when you have this core nucleus where the window is shrinking, Chara's getting older, Seidenberg's getting older. You have Bergeron in the prime of his career. Same thing with Marchand, and ideally Krejci if he could stay healthy. I mean, he still had good statistical numbers this year. I wanted them to be good now, and the rebuild being down the line when those players started becoming older.
So Colin Miller, maybe Claude can make something out of him this upcoming season, but like you said, he struggles with new upcoming players. So I don't know. We'll have to see what happens next season, but I just had what do you guys think about the Red Wings and the Lightning matchup? I think the Lightning's going to take this one another year. This is not their first time being matched up in the first round of playoffs. What do you guys think about this? Because I know the Lightning's played. They went up all the way to the final. What do you guys think?
I took Detroit in my bracket. Just being a little biased. No Stamkos. I think that was detrimental to them, but they still do have that triplet line that's going to be effective. Ben Bishop, he's a Vezina candidate. He's one of the best goalies in hockey. So I think this is a series that's going to run the stretch. I think it goes 7 games.
I agree with everything. Besides, I took Tampa Bay in 6 because Ben Bishop is a great goaltender going on my foundations. I really don't think Detroit has a good team this year. I think they're soft. To be honest, I think that you have one young player in Dylan Larkin, who's a good player. You could something definitely build around. But then I think the other players are old, and I just don't see that.
They've been around for a while, yeah.
Right. I think Tampa Bay's experience will prevail in this round, but I don't have them.
And even though Stamkos is out, he didn't even. I don't think he didn't have the most points last season. I think it was Tyler Johnson that had the most points.
This year it was Kucherov. The year before, him and Tyler Johnson tied.
All right. Because I know he had something up there, but I know Steven Stamkos is out with a blood clot. That's sad to say. That's kind of scary too.
Especially in a contract year.
Yes.
I think he's still going to get $12 million this season.
Yeah, he will be the highest paid, I think.
Yeah. So it's very scary. That's a good matchup. Rangers and Penguins. What do you guys think? I think in our bracket I picked the Rangers, and your bracket VFI I picked Penguins.
I have the Penguins going to the Stanley Cup Finals. The Rangers took a big blow last night. It'd be interesting to see if Lundqvist can come back. Got hit in the eye by Mark Stahl's stick last night. So how they come back. But Pittsburgh's offense was firing on all cylinders last night, and that was without Malkin.
I actually took the Rangers in 6, and after watching last night's game, I'm pretty hesitant about that. But I like the addition that the Rangers did in bringing in Eric Stahl. I think that adds some veteranship. Hank Lundqvist, once again, I hate to keep going back to goaltending, but I'm a firm believer in defense wins you championships. And you've seen the Bruins in 2011 win a Stanley Cup on the back of Tim Thomas. I mean, that's basically what I base my whole philosophy off of. So.
All right, and just very quickly on both of your picks, I'm pretty sure you guys know that they're going to go far, but if you want to do a quick prediction of the Sharks and the Kings and the Predators and the Ducks, just very briefly.
I have the Kings. I have the Ducks.
I have the Kings and the Ducks as well. Oh, no, excuse me. I have the Kings and the Blackhawks.
Okay.
Oh,
Sorry about that.
I have the Blackhawks over St. Louis, too. St. Louis choke artist in the
Is that the
playoffs.
game you mentioned? I might have missed it.
All right. Well, guys, it's been another episode. It's just, it's like, been by pretty quick, but, good luck in your brackets, both of you. I hope you make some money. Actually, I hope I make some money. But that's it for another episode of the Neutral Zone. I'm your host, Danny Lacrosse. Go Red Sox. Bruins are out for the season. Go Blackhawks. So, once again, Mike, Payne, James Quinn, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having us.
Hope we can meet up again for the second round.
Walk in the Bees game, all I see is black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. Yeah, my hat's blue and red, but my jersey's all black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. I'm from a town where it's sports over everything. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. It's Red Sox.